All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Demon Slayer, Season 2, Episode 1.
All
Oh,
right,
boy.
yeah, it's time for us to return to the world of Demon Slayer.
Indeed.
With Banjiro and Chezuko.
Right. Most importantly, Inosuke.
Yes, it's true.
Because he is the main character, if you really think about it. But yeah, last we left off, we had a hype as hell movie.
We had a movie, yes.
That involved a certain Hashira dying.
Yeah.
But he won that fight.
Mr. Umai Rengoku.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
he was very bold. He was very, very, very wholesome boy.
And not a single passenger died.
And not a single person died.
Yeah.
Because y'all were some legends out there.
Yep.
And it was a really cool moment also for the squad to basically say, hey, look, Nezuko can actually be someone that y'all rely on. You don't have to be afraid of her or discriminate or be like, oh, well, she's a demon.
Put her through bullshit tests. I'm looking at you, McBitch Hashira.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, let's see where the next arc goes because this is a short season as things go. 11 episodes. The first episode seems to be a double feature though. So that's going to be pretty cool. Yep. There's an episode that was a kind of a extra bit of flavor for Rengoku that was added to the portion of season 2 of Demon Slayer's release that was just retelling the Mugen Train arc again. But there's an extra bit in the first episode that's primarily just some character stuff that we've been told. It's fine. We'll just watch that on our own time. It's really cool. But given that we're already ahead of what all that stuff would be, and we're not going to rewatch the Mugen Train arc in an anime form just to kind of
and the episode,
each individual episode, the discussion, I guess.
Right, and the episode is anime original also on top of that. It's just, it makes sense.
Okay, so the main thing here is going into season 2, we've got ourselves basically an established bit of trust with Tanjiro, Nezuko, Zenitsu, and Inosuke. What kind of way will they be implemented against Muzan? Because Muzan's whole thing was trying to nab them, but the upper and lower moons, I believe, sent had different missions in regards to that. Because there was the one that was making everybody sleep. That was where all the dream stuff came from. And then the other one basically came
to the real threat.
Clean up things and kill Rengoku.
And that demon was far beyond anything that they could face themselves.
Yeah,
so
they kind of got lucky that Rengoku was
with them
there and able to put himself fully on the line. And yeah,
and he left them with an objective: become the next Hashira. Okay.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, I don't know if they can actually do that in any reasonable amount of time because in a lot of ways, they're going to survive this, but I mean,
they're badasses, but the gap is large.
The gap is large, so I feel like we need more proving grounds for them. We also need to see if the Hashira basically have something in place for losing one of their number, given that Hashira,
it's true. It's a good point.
Tend to die if they're going up against Muzan. So let's see how this goes. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, we got ourselves a new arc. We have ourselves kind of a post Mugen Train kind of morning time for Rengoku.
Yeah, and I think that was a really good choice because Rengoku's death was a very emotional one, right? Yeah. And so
we didn't think we'd get attached to him that quickly.
Yeah, right. It's just like, okay, here's this dude that is very bright and colorful and genki and all that.
Good energy. And
right.
Like, oh shit. Like,
but that was
he's a sweet boy.
He's a sweet boy, and now he's a dead sweet boy.
He's a dead as fuck boy. Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense that Tanjiro and Inosuke and Zenitsu would be devastated from what happened. And while we saw that at the end of the movie, it's nice to see them work through that and process it, and that's something that takes time.
Yeah, it takes time, and also it's a thing where, given that all of them were there, I mean specifically Inosuke and Tanjiro, they were not able to do much, if anything.
Nope.
And each of them have their own different reasons probably for that, because, well, one, Tanjiro has done quite well, actually, in the past against demons, but here...
He was just outclassed.
Like,
and then number 3, you know, that's
right.
how do you deal with that?
Three, and then Inosuke full on hesitated. Like he didn't have the confidence to go in.
Right.
So they're both feeling the results of that. But having them get to go and meet Rengoku's family was a really cool element there.
Yep.
The aspect of where the father, who's very much not taking this well, he's drinking himself into a stupor. He's not taking care of himself. He's he's basically taking this all out on his other son, who's not going to be carrying on the flame Hashira or the flame breathing techniques even much at all, because he doesn't even have enough technique to get his sword to recognize him. And in that respect, he's probably projecting out the idea that Rengoku wasn't a super strong, like god tier level Hashira, but he was strong. He actually nearly beat Akaza, actually.
And like it's one of those things where to retire as a Hashira, you have to be insanely strong, I imagine, right?
Yeah,
because
you didn't die.
You didn't die, right?
And that might also be because Muzan wasn't really
making his
present in a
moves
public way.
Yeah,
and that's probably why he's so freaking out and transformed into a child right now, is that someone bumped into him with his scent, and he's like, what the fuck?
No, I need to go deep undercover.
I am going into my old school style of ways where I'm going to use some family and just be their kid.
And okay, there you go. Awesome. With the new arc that we're getting into, I'm excited to see how this goes. The fact that we have kind of a new Hashira that we're focusing, is, taking our characters on this journey. Great.
It makes sense. It's good to, I would say, also maintain the focus on the main cast a little bit. Every time that this show kind of continues with a new installment of things, I'm really excited primarily for Tanjiro and Nezuko to continue to get focus, because really that's the emotional through line that I care the most about in this story. And the more we get little hints of things of like, oh, Nezuko is able to be in tandem doing missions in the night with Tanjiro.
Right.
Awesome. Cool. So then as we we're on the same page here. Then as we go into things where it's like, oh, we need to infiltrate. We need to potentially even use Nezuko in a way that could be beneficial because, well, she is a demon. And also, this is a place where apparently Tengen needed a woman for this deal. And yet he was like, wait, no, I'll take you 3. Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
I'm like, okay. And then in the OP, we saw them with the red circles in their cheeks, and we're like, okay, I see what they're gonna do here.
Right. So Nezuko could theoretically be perfect for this mission, because it's like, oh, here's a new girl that you can go through that whole training stages. Because there would be a lot of, if I recall correctly, there would be a lot of things that they would teach the girls before they would become escorts when they were kids, of musical instruments and fine arts things and stuff, so that they can be the classy escort, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
But okay, and this is also something where I'm very excited, and this doesn't necessarily have to happen, but I feel like this is a good opportunity for it. But for Nezuko to get more character focus, because if we're in a place where a lot of the stuff is either indoors or at night, then
she doesn't have to be in the box.
She doesn't have to be in the box. And if it's something where it is known that there are demons there, then theoretically, even the fact that she's a demon might not be too much of a problem, because then it's just, oh yeah, I'm another, you have the... You're a new recruit, a special new recruit. I see. All right, come over here,
Especially if it's an infiltration mission as well. One of the things that can be rather fun with this is that the demons can be very open about the fact that they're demons to those that could be able to tell. So to regular humans that probably go to the entertainment district, they're like, oh, okay, whatever. They don't necessarily notice. But then there's people that are like, oh, I can definitely tell. Tell. Some of them might even use their techniques or what have you to enhance some aspects of their deal here. But we also saw in the OP that Tengen had a full on troop of women with him as well.
Did.
So he's probably Hashira pimp, you know? He's the Giga Chad, you know, with
right. He frequents this place because it's flashy.
Right. But they're probably also like right there tight with him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting them all to have like badass moves and stuff as well.
Oh yeah. And the designs I feel like are going to get all kinds of off the wall and badass and cool and
for sure
wonderful, and it'll be great.
And Tengen is known as the sound Hashira, apparently.
Right.
And apparently, given that he came from a shinobu
Shinobi.
Wow, yeah. A shinobi family, he might be able to basically make himself invisible. Like, that might be his technique, where it's just the thing where he's like, I have to, unfortunately, when I fight, be unflashy and just, you know, utilize basically, like, my breathing goes to a minimum and people, like, aren't able to, like,
does some
notice
Drax
him or
the
something.
Destroyer stuff where he's like, if I remain perfectly still, no one can see me.
Yeah, his thing is not breathing technique, it's holding your breath technique. And it's just like...
My lung capacity is super impressive.
He is practically a JoJo character in his design compared to the other Hashira, who are kind of the weirdly like the Demon Slayer look, where they're all like short and like they're kind of like squished down.
Other than the what was it,
the big guy, the stone Hashira, right. Gyome Himejima.
Indeed,
yeah. He had like the big Buddha, like yes.
I'm curious to see how this ends up going because well, yes, he is trained in the shinobi arts. Infiltration doesn't seem like it would be his style.
No, he seems weirdly adjacent to Rengoku in that he's like, yes, I'm a blockhead, I'm a dumbass.
Like he reminds me of like, old school reference. He reminds me of Black Star from Soul Eater, where it's like, I'm a ninja, but I'm a very loud ninja. You know, like it's like,
yeah, that's the thing though. I think he abandoned his kind of shinobi family to become a Hashira.
Right, because he didn't like that.
Because he didn't like that thing. So it's maybe the thing where he's like,
I was actually a character in Naruto.
Right.
And then
I was actually,
like, nah.
Yeah, I was actually a pretty cool ninja, by the way. You kids would like that. That makes me cool, right? And they're like, so why are you a Hashira then? And he's like, well, because that's not flashy. And they're like, so you thought being a ninja was uncool, and yet we think you would be cool because you came from a ninja family. And he's like, yeah.
It's all just a reference to the fact that Naruto is a very old show by this point, and the people who would be watching Demon Slayer and getting into it as like one of their first anime
might have never even seen Naruto.
Yeah, right. But
that's really cute. Okay, but we've got basically this new direction here. We've got a new location and kind of maybe also a new subplot going on with Tanjiro's sun breathing stuff, which apparently, if we were to take our info from the previous season
of the fire breathing,
the Hinokami Kagura technique and stuff, and then everything with what his father kind of helped him remember in that moment, was something that allowed him to defeat Rui. But in terms of it being something where the info was destroyed that was in a book basically, and the first scene in this episode was Muzan grabbing a book, which he then took all the way out back to his home
and then destroyed
it in a kind of an incidental way, because Akaza showed up and kind of pissed him off by being like, hey, I killed a Hashira. And he's like, I don't give a fuck if you killed a Hashira.
Why are those damn kids still alive?
Yeah. If you killed a Hashira, that's normal. That's Tuesday. Why did you leave anybody alive, though, during that thing?
And I love that because it's like...
it's the classic villain thing.
Well, it's the classic
subordinate coming in and being like, "Oh, you disappointed me."
Right. Even though it's like, no, he actually did a pretty good job. It's like, okay, good. Now do that. Go do 5 more times. Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. But the whole idea of no, the kids survived, specifically that bitch with the Hanafuda earrings that I want to kill. How did that happen? Right. That they should have been no problem. It's something where even though Rengoku is dead, I was actually wondering if Rengoku was actually going to cause Akaza's death because, Muzan would be like, "Oh,
Well,
you're clearly a failure if you let the kids escape.
Yeah, one of the
you
things
weren't really able to defeat a Hashira."
One of the things where I think you might be right with that, though, is that we already have kind of an incident of this in the Hashira, where for whatever reason, Gyu, nobody likes him, you know? This might be the thing where Akaza becomes basically the laughing stock of the upper moons, and even maybe even the lower moons, where like the lower moons are like, yo, Akaza, I hear you might be moving out soon.
Right.
Like maybe your spot's going to get taken. And the idea...
There's reports that there was a demon that ran away like a little bitch from a kid.
Yeah. I wonder, who could that be? And the idea that he might slowly become more and more on the outs and cause problems for their group as a whole because he's maybe a bit unhinged at that point.
I would like to see that.
I could totally see the psychological damage that is potentially done if he's not able to handle this. And then he could be also a demon that we get like some perspective on that's omniscient.
Sure.
And that could be pretty cool.
I was straight up surprised, like when he went back to talk to Muzan, to the point where I thought for a second that it was like a flashback because he seemed so composed. Because like he was shitting himself when he ran away, and then we later get to see the scene where he just
tears apart the sword.
And it's like, there we go.
Yeah, he got under his skin.
That's how you vented, you know, so that you could be like, okay, Muzan, yes, right.
Yes. All right, cool. Yes, we can go and talk normally. This will be fine.
Yep.
But yeah, Muzan is still around, but he is incredibly smart. He is using his shape-shifting ability to just, hide out in some random town or village or what have you, and just be a kid there.
And I'm guessing he probably also like did some mind fuckery with the parents to make them think like, yes, I've been your child all this time. Because originally I was thinking like, wait, is this some backstory for him that like he's actually been keeping this cover up the entire time? But then I was like, wait, no, he had the adult cover that he had, you know, at the other place. So, you know,
right.
Yeah. But he's powerful. He can do all kinds of shit. You know?
I think it's more the thing where he's just constantly keeping himself from being discovered.
Yep.
And the idea that Tanjiro has this special kind of smell ability where he can see like shatter points. He can kind of determine a person's nature a little bit.
Yep.
That's a really big deal. And the fact that, what was it, episode 6 or 7 when he found Muzan.
He just randomly finds the big bad evil guy.
It's just the casual moment where he's like, I was having ramen, and then a smell came by, and I was like, I'm going to go figure out what that is. And then the big bad evil guy just suddenly was there, and it was like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? I asked you first. Well, I asked you second. You know?
Right. Yep.
So, okay.
Knowing, though, that the sun breathing technique was the first breathing technique ever made, that's interesting. Because given that Muzan is the first demon...
Sure. This might have been made in response to Muzan.
Yep.
And thus it was someone that knew maybe a little bit of how to defeat Muzan.
Right. And then that makes sense then why he would fear it so much, because it's like, oh shit, no, this is actually like the thing that was designed to kill me. And I've destroyed all the records, but somehow this little kid is doing it.
And it brings a lot of things into context with regards to, I mean, this is stuff we already knew, kind of, but just the idea that it's been this big of a deal is just a reminder of, you know, episode 1, entire family was slaughtered.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. Season 2. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.